وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. سيدي إسحاق.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم
بسم
السلام
الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد الصادق الأمين المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا، وأنت تجعل الحزن إذا شئت سهلا. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما فقهنا إذا علمتنا. كتاب الشمائل, the book of Shamail by Imam Tirmidhi. We are in the chapter of the sandals of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We are lucky to have one of them. Most probably this confirmed, and you have it in the museum in Istanbul, you know. And many of you people, they have similar sign or similar figure like the sandals of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And I think you are familiar with it, most of you. And in one hadith, he said that it has two straps, you know, that this is different than the usual that we have nowadays. You have it with one strap, you know, usually, and one split or one area to split the toes, you know. Whereas the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam sandal was with two straps, you know, that's mean two splits there. This is what they said. The first one to have it with one strap was Sayyidina Uthman ibn Affan. It's mentioned here in the hadith number 24 that the first one to have one strap was Sayyidina Uthman ibn Affan. Then the chapter after it speak about the ring of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and this ring, it has been used as a ring and as a seal, you know, in the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Apparently, the same ring used for seal and for ring. You know. They said, I don't know how is it confirmed that there is miracle, you know, in the ring of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because it looks like the ordinary one when you say Muhammadur Rasulullah, and when you seal in it is going to be again Muhammadur Rasulullah. As you know, the seal is going to be the opposite of the ordinary writing. When you put on your seal, the same way of writing is going to be in the opposite way. The right is going to be left and the left is going right. This is mentioned in some books that in the seal, the ring of the Prophet ﷺ was to be read correctly, you know, and sealed correctly, you know. This is considered as mu'jiza. So here you have the first hadith speak that the Prophet ﷺ used to have it, you know, in his fingers all the time, and he used to seal with it. And the hadith after it gives the reason behind it, you know. When the Prophet ﷺ started having a ring was when he wanted to send his letters, you know, to the famous kings surrounding Arab Peninsula, and he was told that they will not accept any letter if it's not sealed, you know. That's why the Prophet ﷺ made his ring, you know, and what's written in it was Muhammadur Rasulullah. Then we move to the next chapter speaking about where the Prophet ﷺ used to have his ring, and in one narration he brought that he used to have his ring in his right hand, and you have many narrations that it was in the right hand. We have some narration that said it was in the left hand, you know. How we gather those two narrations together, as you may expect, the ring, you know, may be moved, you know, from one area to another, you know, according to the time or position, or as illustrated in hadith number 28, when he declared that the ring dropped off from the hand of Sayyidina Uthman ibn Affan not from Sayyidina Uthman, from Mu'ayqil in Bi'r Aris. Bi'r Aris, a well in Medina, well-known well in Medina Munawwara. Apparently, Mu'ayqib, who was responsible for the seal of Sayyidina Uthman bin Affan, exactly the same seal of the Prophet ﷺ, it dropped, eventually from his hand, in the seal. And this gives us the answer, this question, what was Mu'ayqib? Mu'ayqib, a companion, Sahabi known, Mu'ayqib ibn Abi Fatim al-Dawsi, his complete name. He used to be responsible for the seal during the time of Sayyidina Uthman ibn Affan. This person was responsible for it. For sure, this is the dam drop during the time of the Prophet ﷺ. It dropped in the time of Sayyidina Uthman ibn Affan. Okay, and the rest of the question is, he was trusted, to have the seal of Sayyidina Uthman ibn Affan, the Khalifa, who is responsible, this person was responsible for any book or letter sent by Sayyidina Uthman ibn Affan to be sealed, by the ring of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and subhanallah, it was dropped from his hand. It dropped from his hand, in that wheel. And Sayyidina Uthman ibn Affan tried to dry the whole wheel, but they were not able to find the ring of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It was lost there in that wheel, and then Sayyidina Uthman ibn Affan had another ring with similar description, and he put Muhammad or Rasulullah on it, to have this similar ring that dropped, in that wheel. That wheel has been well known. Recently, it's called the wheel of the seal, Originally, in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, it's called Bi'r Aris. Aris was its name. But after that, it has been called Bi'r al-Khatim, the wheel of the seal, and it's next to the gate of Mosque Quba. It's in Quba. This is well known. It has been covered completely, roughly in 1970 or something of that regard, roughly about 40 years and something, ago. Before that, it was well known, that particular wheel, and it's well known. Even its place up till now, it's well known, even though it's not available physically now because it has been dammed, and they have the road over it nowadays. They said that during the time of Sayyidina Uthman ibn Affan, this is after it happened roughly after 6 years, of the time of Sayyidina Uthman ibn Affan, that the first 6 years of Sayyidina Uthman ibn Affan, they were very well, and everyone was happy, and you name it, But the last 6 years, he started to have the chaotic and eruption and demonstration against him, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, Some people, they may relate it to the seal of the ring of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that when it was lost, the peaceful way, of the people, it has been lost with it, and they start to have the demonstration and other matters, and unfortunately, we have the division of the whole nation up, from that time up till our time. And Sayyidina Uthman ibn Affan specified in one day, he said, if you are going to kill me, we are not going to pray together again, And this is really what happened, after the assassination of Sayyidina Uthman ibn Affan. The nation became many sections, at the Prophet ﷺ. This is basically what we know about that. We have nowadays, and some people, they put the picture of the ring of the Prophet ﷺ or whatever. All those matters, they are like a symbol or something similar to it. The real ring, as we said, it was lost, in that particular way. Move to the next chapter, speaking about the sword of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Again, we have in the museum in Istanbul, we have the sword of the Prophet, or more than one sword, apparently. How accurate, how confirmed, I'm not sure about it, Uh, I have no idea about the story, how it came to the museum in Istanbul. Yani I have the picture of it, but how accurate is it, I'm not sure. For sure they have some changes on it, the blade of it, or the trunk of it, it's still the same, but the hand and other matters, you have many changes happen to them. For sure they are not similar to the way they used to be in the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And here Sayyidina Anas ibn Malik in the first hadith, number 29, okay, described that this certain portion of the sword of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to be silver, okay, qabi'a we call it in Arabic, that mean the, what I know about qabi'a, the top, of the hand. That's what I know. Here it's translated as was lined with silver, to make the grip. Okay, this is it. And in the grip, you have portion of the sword, there, which was silver. Okay. For sure, I think we know that the sword used to be done from iron. Okay, and a certain portion they were silver, in the sword of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Here we have the other hadith, number 30, that Ibn Sirin, a famous scholar of the successors, he said, I made my sword according to the sword of Samura ibn Jundub. Samura ibn Jundub, a companion, and Samura, he told him that he made his sword according to the sword of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وكان حنيفيا. Hanifa, Banu Hanifa is an Arab tribe, and they were famous in making, swords, and they were rough fighters, That's why we read during the time of Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq said the first army was defeated, the second one, and the third one by Sayyidina Khalid al-Walid, and the third one was about to be defeated, Then those brave reciters of Quran, they were the one who gave the victory, to the Muslim. So one of the major skills, of those people, Hanifa, was that their swords, they were unique, and they have special, different specialty, than the swords, the other Arab swords, So apparently, Samura ibn Jundub said that the description of the sword of the Prophet ﷺ was of that particular quality. Okay. This number, if these questions related to our subject, we'll try to answer them when gets received. It's about the habit that we have nowadays, that during the engagement we'll put the ring in the right hand and then we move it to the left hand, As I told you, we have a collection of ahadith that the Prophet ﷺ used to have it in the right, and the other collection that he used to have it in the left, And this is, I feel it, as it's optional, you may have it the way you want, okay? So, and even among the scholars, there's controversy, about it, So, no need of argument, or anything else, in that regard, since we have the two narrations were mentioned. As you may imagine, and that's what I feel, you may have combination of the two narrations, because as we said before, even nowadays, a person may move his ring from one finger to another or from one hand to another. So apparently it's not a big deal in this regard. I'm here speaking about something of ilm al-ghayb that I'm not familiar with. I have heard it, but I don't know in what basis, it was said, that this ring is going to be shown again, and the person is going to find it, is going to destroy the beast, a beast that was released on the Muslims, to best of my knowledge, this is incorrect, and this is contradictory with what the Prophet ﷺ said. The Prophet ﷺ said, as was considered as hadith mutawatir, in our tradition of the Prophet ﷺ, that لا تزال طائفة من أمتي ظاهرين على الحق. Okay, in all times, in all places, we are going to find, even though it may be minute number or small number, of people, but they still hold the instruction, the teaching of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, to consider our religion as the other religions, the Christianity and the Judaism that had a lot of changes, and has been changed a lot, and this is going to go for 1400 years or 2000. I don't know when this person is going to show up, and then to be corrected, So I don't see it as any specialty, in Islam, whereas what we read in Quran and what we read in the Ahadith, that there's specialty here in Islam, that it's not going to be similar to the previous messages which has been changed a lot, and they have many matters changing, in their religion. And this is, we take it from the verse in Surah Al-Hajj, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا مِنْ قَبْلِكَ مِنْ رَسُولٍ وَنَبِيٍّ إِلَّا إِذَا تَمَنَّى أَلْقَى الشَّيْطَانُ فِي أُمْنِيَّتِهِ فَيَنْسَخُ اللَّهُ مَا يُلْقِي الشَّيْطَانُ ثُمَّ يُحْكِمُ اللَّهُ. And this tells about all prophets and messengers before the Prophet ﷺ, that they had some changes done through these nations, by the devil. The devil gave them this idea to change some of those matters. To declare it happened in Islam, I'm going to be in the same way, if I don't trust my Quran because of this information that mentioned it, if I don't trust the tradition of the Prophet, again, I'm not going to trust this statement. What's the difference between them? Okay, they are the same. You said so, the other says it. But the point here that you have the majority of people, they said the Quran is the Quran, the tradition of the Prophet is the tradition. We may have different practice. We may be deficient, in those matters. And one of the hadith of the Prophet, one of the narration about when the nation divided to 73 sections, he said, as-sawad al-a'zam. And one of the signs to know where is the right in this nation is to go by the majority. The Prophet ﷺ, many of those narrations of this particular hadith, he said, as-sawad al-a'zam. Another way of, I want to put it here, the sections of this nation is much more than the Christian or the Jewish people, okay? In some hadith, the Jewish, they were 71, the Christians 72, our nation is 73. What's the difference between us and them? The difference that you have more than 80% of this nation on the right section, which was described by the Prophet ﷺ as as-sawad al-a'zam. Whereas now when you look at the Christian, Catholic, Orthodox, Protestant, Lutheran, you name it, you are going to find almost equal number, You don't have majority. Don't look at majority. You see the difference? Okay? We should have both facts together. The first facts. The sections of Muslims, they are more than the sections of Christian or Jewish. Okay? This is, we accept. The second point, but certain recognition, in Islam, that in Islam you have the majority, and I have heard it frequently, even of non-Muslim. I observe it in TV, in the US when I used to be, that one section count more than 80%. This is not done by Muslims or someone. It's done by the non-Muslim, by the American. They said one section counts for more than 80%. So this gives me the answer what the Prophet ﷺ said, as-sawad al-a'zam. Okay? And this is one of the significant difference. We don't declare that in Islam we don't have differences, we don't have section. No, we have differences, we have section, we have something accepted, we have something unaccepted. Okay? And you have even among the Muslims who declare that they are Muslim, they worship human being. Okay? So, to what extent this person is considered as Muslim, I don't know, you know. The one who said that the Quran is not the Quran, and whatever, you know, of that regard. Yet, we have the majority, as I said, you know, they still have the same pattern, or at least they believe in it, even if their practice may be different, you know, and may be deficient in their practice, but they still believe in the way the Prophet ﷺ and his companions used to be. Boyfriend non-Muslim, can you marry him? If this question from woman, no. This is prohibited, and this mentioned in many surahs in Quran. It's mentioned in the hadith of the Prophet. No, this is impossible. This relation, according to Islam, is considered as adultery. This is not marriage. We don't call it marriage. This ring which is kept in the Museum of Istanbul, I don't recall that I mentioned any ring kept, you know. I think you have a shape of it, it was drawn, you know, as a shape. I don't remember that I said there's a ring, you know, kept in the museum in Istanbul. No, there's no such a ring. To best of my, correct me if I'm wrong, you know, to best of my knowledge, we don't have a ring nowadays, you know, in the museum in Istanbul. We have even elsewhere, you know, some shape. They give you the shape of the ring of the Prophet ﷺ. Again, the shape, that means a draw or a sketch or whatever, you know. It's not the real ring of the Prophet ﷺ. Well, about the finger, you know, most of the narration, they said the little finger. I remember, but I'm not sure now, you know, that some they said the one before it, okay? But most narration they said the little finger. Yes?
Because I met a doctor, he's from Africa, and he said that his wife was a Muslim.
Who?
His wife was a Muslim.
Okay.
And she became Christian to marry him. What do you suggest?
What do I suggest about what?
Should they become Christian to get married to?
You have priorities in your life. Okay? All of us, all human, they have priorities in their life. Okay? As a Muslim, what's the first priority in your life? Your religion. That's what they say, okay? Your religion is the first priority of your life. Why? Because this is for this life and for the hereafter. Sometimes it may not work for you for this life, but you are sure that it's going to work for you in the hereafter. So here, you sacrifice yourself, your money, your mind, your fame, your everything, you know, to this one, okay? And we have the 5 priorities. They mention it, the fuqaha. The first one is religion. Second one is your life. Third one is your mind. Fourth one is your fame. Fifth one is your money, okay? And you go by this order. And you are going, whenever you are exposed to very critical position, you are going to sacrifice the lowest for the highest, okay? And this is the way I see it. If I buy a sword with intention to fulfill sunnah, will I be rewarded? Are you going to have the sword with you all the time, or just you are going to hang it, at home? I don't think this is part of Sunnah to hang a sword, at home. I don't think this is the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This has nothing to do with our text here. The question that the Prophet's father, before getting married to Sayyida Amina, was he approached with a proposal from a Jewish Bedouin? Do you have Jewish Bedouin? I don't know. At this term, I never heard it before. Anyway, I'll go by it. What is the story behind this? We read in Sirah that a woman who observed Sayyidina Abdullah, the father of the Prophet ﷺ, and felt he has some certain light, certain type of light, in his forehead, and she expected something behind this, She offered herself, in this regard, Yes, this is, we read it in Sirah. But I should inform myself and everyone, Sirah is a science independent by itself. The narration there is not as strong. Sometimes it is as strong, but in many occasions not as strong as the tradition of the Prophet ﷺ. These stories, they are not all equal, in their strength, as transmission. So here we accept this story, I know that many, I read, not that many, recently I read some, of those matters that some people, they try to be picky, and try to imagine, and try to speak badly about the father of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, all those matters, they are out of imagination, because they are not based on even historical basis. Okay, even when you go to the Sirah, you are not going to feel as such. I'm sorry to say so, they said because of different dates and whatever, of the difference age between Sayyidina Hamza ibn Abd Muttalib and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that means his mother was not that good, I'm sorry, this is very, what do you call it, very nasty thing, to be said, because I know the previous generation in Syria, that namely my cousin, my uncles and my aunts, we have a different, of opinion, because they don't fix the date. Are you going to call all these people adulterers? This is the way you analyze the history? You are fair here? You are completely out of it. You see? Because I know it in my community, just one generation before. Now we have a rule, we have a law that you should register your son, or whatever, But I know about my uncles and my aunts, we have different, some will say 1925, no, 1928. They are adulterous because of this. How silly is this person, who try to fish, try to pick up, in this way, okay? Why I should say those matters, because you may get exposed to those matters. And even this story, many people, they try to pick up from it, some dishonesty, which is, some dishonesty in the father of the Prophet ﷺ, or of that particular woman, And my answer to this, the one who think about it, he is the impure one, okay? And you have the certain action is going to be analyzed differently, okay? The one who is pure is going to analyze it in a pure way. The one who is impure is going to analyze it in impure way, right? I'm sorry to say this, when one shake hands with another man, this is out of getting along and being kind. Someone will analyze it as this is homosexual, okay? This is not meant, by that person, but this is the impurity of the person analyzing what's going on, okay? I believe, and this is the reality in my view, I go but by those who are experienced. Who are they? Ibn Mas'ud and Ali ibn Abi Talib. Those are the people who met with the Prophet ﷺ. Those are the people who lived with the Prophet ﷺ. They said, you should upgrade yourself a lot, and by this you are not going to reach the fact, Whereas, I'm sorry to tell you, some people who read the seerah of the Prophet, they are going to be down, put themselves down, Look at the Prophet ﷺ like the magician or the liar or this or that. These people, they are not speaking about the Prophet ﷺ. They are speaking about their inward, okay? This is their inward, This has been reflected, in their talk, So this is, this question, for sure, the one who asked it to clarify this point. I'm not accusing this person at all, but I should warn everyone that these stories has been abused recently to accuse the father of the Prophet ﷺ, to accuse the mother of the Prophet ﷺ, in very dirty way, okay? Which is, as I told you, doesn't make any sense, to look at the previous generation back in Syria and call all of them adulterous. Why? Because they don't have exact date of their birth, And they pick up the different narration about the gap between Sayyidina Muhammad and Sayyidina Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib, and they try to form fake stories, about it, which is, they try to sound scientific. Leave belief alone, even if you are not Muslim, even the person is not Muslim, leave this alone, but at least be scientific in your way. They try to sound that they are scientific, they are reasonable, they try to be fair with everyone, but unfortunately when they come to the matter of the Prophet ﷺ, they are the most unfair, the most ignorant, that they don't know anything about science. They did not just the matter, the data that they have according to the science that they have learned. And that's why we should be too careful. And I give you this example, about it. One time, back in Syria, one of my relatives, he said in the internet they have this brief seerah about the Prophet ﷺ. Would you look at it? There are 3 or 4 pages. Traveling to Syria of the Prophet ﷺ. In 3 pages, speaking about the Prophet. How many times do you expect to have it? I may say no time, because you have in 3 pages, to speak about many more important, issues than this issue. Why in these 3 pages it was mentioned 3 or 4 times? I should ask myself, why? Why it's mentioned 3 or 4 times? I give you the answer. Because they think that the Prophet ﷺ went to Syria, met with the Christian people, and got all information from there, okay? And here, they try to fish, try to build some information on loose data, not loose data, against the fact completely, okay? The Prophet ﷺ met with a monk, when he was 12 years old, and he traveled the second time. He never met with anyone. He just sold something, bought something, and that's it, He never met with anyone. And the third one was spiritual one during the Isra. You see? When I was in US, a Muslim boy brought to me the book about the Prophet ﷺ, told to them in the school, that the Prophet ﷺ went to Syria more than 50 times. Okay, why more than 50 times? Because of this matter. Okay? So here, at least if the person is not Muslim, to be fair, to be scientific, to have his matter based on solid data, not to pick up, due of difference in date, this person is adulterous. And how I can reach this conclusion, This doesn't make any sense for me, okay? And we are going, perhaps, or we are in general, we are going to be faced with such comments, or you name it, and just I ask everyone to be fair, to be scientific, okay, to rely on solid data, okay, and I'm here to say one of the greatness of the Prophet ﷺ, which to best of my knowledge never happened to anyone else, that he has very open life. It wasn't mystery. He did not make himself in a palace, and unreachable by anyone. He used to have 9 wives, and he used to encourage them to tell everything about what's going on in his houses, okay? And as I told you before, he used to step, behind people, and people follow him, and sometimes push him. When you look at those matters, it tells you, this life is completely open, much more than my life. Okay, regardless how open I am, the life of the prophets was the most openly life. Why? Because لَقَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رَسُولِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ, to make us match and mimic the life of the Prophet ﷺ. Yet, when you look at this particular life, if you look in a fair way, not as Muslim, not as lover of the Prophet, just by a fair way, you are not going to find any deficiency. And you are going to find the title which was put by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَإِنَّكَ بِأَعْيُنِنَا, you are in our eyes, you are going to find it in each part and each step of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So I need to give this just because I came across some of those matters, and I felt that I should clarify these points, because apparently we have people, work hard, to try to attack the Prophet ﷺ by those silly ideas, flying ideas come to them, Again, really, I'm going to repeat it, just because of difference in dates, that means this woman is adulterous? How come? This about Taraweeh. Shall we answer this question now or
Later on. We'll do it later on.
do it later? Okay. Please don't send question now. You can send it at the last session. We'll answer them. Otherwise, I'll be busy reading the questions. I'm slow and reading. All the time. Talking about sects, are Alawis Muslim? Here you have standard. You go by it. Don't look at the names, look at the facts, okay? We have standard. The one who said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah, believe in the all Quran, believe that the Quran is not more or less than what we have, okay? Have the basic pillars of Islam. Yes, he is Muslim. So I don't care about the name, I care about the facts, okay? You measure these facts, in anyone, and see if he's Muslim or not Muslim. Please try to have the handwriting a little bit bigger, because I'm not that good, to look at the small handwriting. How do you respond to those people who say the parents of the Prophet ﷺ, they are in hellfire? Okay. And what I respond, regardless of the fact, this is harming the Prophet ﷺ. This harmed the Prophet ﷺ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَدُونَ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ لَعَنَهُمْ اللَّهُ فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. They are cased in this life and in the hereafter. And the hereafter. Why you said they are harming? Because when the son of Abu Jahl, he came to Medina al-Munawwara and they start speak in the truthful way that his father in hellfire. Yes, his father in hellfire. The Prophet ﷺ said, don't curse the deceased person and harm the alive one. Okay? So here the Prophet ﷺ confirmed that whenever you call someone father as in hellfire, you are harming him. So the simple answer to that question that they are harming the Prophet ﷺ, and we know from the verse in Surah Al-Ahzab about how they are going to be treated, those people who harm the Prophet ﷺ. Is Coke haram? Coke, right? Or cake? It looks like cake or Coke. Don't laugh a lot, I heard it many times, Some people, they said it is haram, Why? Some they said there's some unknown material added to it. About Pepsi, they said this from pepsin, taken from pork. Some people, they said so. Up till now, to best of my knowledge, I'm not knowledgeable in everything, I don't think there's any proof about those matters, okay? Please don't play badly, with the facts of haram and halal, okay? Why? Because this is going to drive all of us, not to care a lot, about haram and halal. So don't call anything haram unless you are 100% sure about it, okay? And I'm telling you, Coke or Pepsi or this or that, I have heard all of these stories. You may have another scenario of this, What is it? All those cans, that sold in the market, chemically, you are going to find very minute percentage of alcohol in them. Even if you give me now a cup, of orange juice, let's say, or lemonade, or whatever, if it's left here, especially in hot weather, for 2 or 3 hours, chemically, you are going to have some alcohol there, okay? So make this glass of lemonade, make it haram on me? No. We know that this is trivial, this is the nature, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala excuse us in this matter, okay? I imagine, I don't have any solid data about it, that some people may, because I came through some Pakistani Shaykh and other, they refrain drinking Coke or Pepsi. Perhaps, this is my analysis, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, that they subjected this material to certain lab, and they found some minute amount of alcohol there, and they refrained. But if this is the case, even the juice haram on me, I should drink it right away, otherwise, chemically, and it's well known for those who are specialized in chemistry, that you are going to have this process taking place, and gradually you are going to have some alcohol there, gradually, especially in the hot weather, okay? So here, if I'm allowed to drink this glass of lemonade or whatever, 3 hours or after 4 hours later, for sure, Coke and Pepsi, if this is the reason behind it, still halal, okay, for me. When you have other proof or other evidence that it's haram, please show it to me. I'll be the first one to say it is haram, okay? But up till now, I don't have anything to make it haram on people. Again, this question has nothing to do with, it's about firasa. Inshallah, we'll answer it later. Okay. We spoke about the sword of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We'll move to another section speaking about the armor of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And here we have this description that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had 2 armors, during Uhud battle, and he was wounded, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, bled, and he was weak a little bit, to stand up. And Sayyidina Talha bin Ubaydillah was the one who carried the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to make him, stand, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave him the glad tidings about heaven. This is to speak about the armor of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We have this question here about Hadith 31, this from yesterday or day before, I forgot, yes. Did the Prophet ﷺ wear two coats of armor? Yes. This has been, I think, confirmed by many ahadith. What is the reason for this? As I said before, when you look at the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ, when you look at the tradition of the Prophet ﷺ, you are going to find the ordinary way of living. Okay, the Prophet ﷺ, whatever available to him, he's going to use it as the ordinary person uses it. He will not try to just rely on unseen or non-physical. He's the most believer in the unseen or the non-physical. Yet he used to have in himself, a very ordinary life physically. Even though I feel inside his heart has the strongest, knowledge, the strongest confidence, in the non-physical and the unseen related to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is just to make all fellow Muslims, feel good, about this, because the Prophet ﷺ used to have the ordinary human life, and by this we are eligible to follow his steps, and look at him as our model. And as a matter of fact, in the tradition of the Prophet ﷺ, whenever this comment comes, the Prophet ﷺ will get really angry. When someone said, when he say about something that he did, sallallahu they will say, you are not similar to us, Ya Rasulullah. As if they went to distract themselves, of following the steps of him, sallallahu and this has been narrated, frequently, that the Prophet will get really angry whenever this is said, Why? Because part of his message is taken from his actions, sallallahu from his life, how he used to live, And all of these matter. I'm here not to deny that he has certain specialties, okay? Those specialties, we cannot follow him with these specialties, But the original matter, that the specialties, they are the exception, that not the rules, okay? Whenever you have anything done by the Prophet ﷺ, you should follow the steps, unless or other, except when you find that this was special to the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ married 9 wives, for sure. No one has the authority to get married to 9 wives, okay? This is specialty of the Prophet ﷺ. So here, again, tell you how the Prophet ﷺ used to live in his life, the ordinary way, not the extraordinary way. Even those awliya, the highest rank of the awliya, they said, the best among the awliya, those who have the ordinary life, not those who have a lot of karamat or whatever. They are going to see the extraordinary in the ordinary. How? That when they are thirsty and they drink water, they feel that the water doesn't help anyone, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help you to take the thirsty when you drink the water. Okay? The difference between this high rank of awliya and the ordinary people, they have the same practice. What's the difference? The difference in their remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in their connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this may lead me that, alhamdulillah, jazakumullah khairan, nowadays, every day after Asr we recite Surah Al-Waqi'ah. Surah Al-Waqi'ah speak about 3 different types of people. As-Sabiqun, those who come first, and Ashab al-Yamin, people of heaven, and Ashab al-Shimal. This is the first half of the surah. The second half of the surah speaks about what? Children, culture, water, fire. What's the relation between those factors, which is, they are too essential to our survival in this life and to stay, as a humankind, What's the relation between them and between the first part of the surah? The relation, how the 3 different sections, they look at those matters. The non-believer look at it, Mother Nature. Water is going to take my thirst, okay? Food is going to take away my hunger, and you name it. I bring the children when I get married. The believers, no, they believe this is from Allah. but they tend to forget it most of their life, most time of their life. As-sabiqun, they look at it, they look at the extraordinary in the ordinary. They feel how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helped them to take away the dirty by this manner, okay, or to help themselves, whenever they are hungry by eating something, or by the clothes, when they are cold, or you name it. You see, this is the difference between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala highlighted at the last part, of Surah Al-Waqi'ah about the essentials in this life and how the three different groups they look at it. For sure, we think that the Prophet ﷺ is at the top, of as-sabiqeen, and he's going to live in our expectation ordinary life. But in the meanwhile, he never forget Allah. See? And this is the greatness of the Prophet. And this is when you look at it in Islam. Since in Islam you have one of our essential matters, the tradition of the Prophet. It comes right after the Holy Quran. Okay? When you look at Islam from this viewpoint, you see how Islam is practical and how it's flexible. Okay? Nowadays, when you look at the religious, you look at the thoughts, you look at the theories, and you name it, you are going to have most of them either deviated to the spiritual matters and forgetting the practical steps, or they are materialistic completely. And it happened to me here in Markfield, I was, and a person came who was non-Muslim, and apparently he was an expert, in religions in general. And I asked him this question: have you seen, this non-Muslim person, have you seen any religion or any law gives this unique and this unique combination, for the need of souls and the need of body like Islam? And he said no. Okay, and this is one of the greatness of your Islam. Okay, and why I should say so, because this could going to be the answer of that question. This is, you find it in the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in this life practiced the ordinary practice that any human practices. Okay, what's the difference between him sallallahu alaihi wasallam and any other ordinary man? The difference is in his relation with Allah subhanahu. Okay, and this has been open for us. Okay, anyone of us interested in this pattern, live your ordinary life. Okay, but in the meanwhile, you should strengthen your relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You should have better knowledge in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, better confidence in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you name it. Can the woman wear ring, with their own seal on the right hand as a sunnah, or wear other items, like this as a sunnah? Anything which is not considered as this is for males and the other one for females, because the Prophet ﷺ prohibited in another hadith to have the males look like the females or the females to look like the males. Okay, we are of different genders, okay, and in the tradition of the Prophet ﷺ, and nowadays we have this difference. We should show the difference. So anything related to the Prophet ﷺ, which has nothing to do with this matter, again, the woman, she may follow the Sunnah exactly the way the Prophet ﷺ did it. Anything which is special for men, no. If the tradition is that this is considered special for men, she should go by the way the wives of the Prophet ﷺ practice. Okay, and here we have the wives of the Prophet ﷺ. They are our mothers. Okay, and since they are our mothers, we should try to mimic them, in their attitude in this regard. Then the next chapter spoke about the mighfar, or translated as helmet of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Again, he reminds us that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to use the ordinary measurement, for war is going to look similar to the others, for peace, same thing, clothes, and you name it, He did not have this extraordinary, except in very exceptional way, when they have a severe shortage of food, and he put the barakah there, and he fed 1,000 persons from a small sheep, or you name it. This was the exception, not the rule in the life of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this again a reminder of us, of how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to be really, not only as he is a perfect prophet, perfect messenger, perfect pious to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and what else? I should like perfect human. What do I mean by the perfect human? And in his eating, drinking, sleeping, getting sick, use the tools of the world, and you name it, like other human, but on the top, perfect one, as Sayyidina Ibn Mas'ud and Sayyidina Ali said, to even for the matters which is just from outside, the ahya. What's the meaning of ahya? That means the best outlooking. I should stop here just to clarify that we have these 3 chapters, speaking about war. We are not shy of it. The Prophet ﷺ fought against some people. The Prophet ﷺ, one of his name, the messenger of mercy, and the other name is the messenger of fighting, Rasul al-Malahim. Here, he was perfect in all of these matters. Nowadays, some of those picky or fishy people, they'll say, Islam spread only by sword. And some people will say, no sword at all. This is wrong, and the other one is wrong, What I'll say, the Prophet ﷺ used the peace when it's placed, and used the war when it's placed, Regardless of anything, everyone now look nice and kind, but we have the defense ministry in all governments, And in many occasions they use it not for defense, to offend the others, So here, the Prophet ﷺ is way out of this, He's not the one who speaks something and do something, defense ministry, and use it, abuse it. No, the Prophet ﷺ is as of his names, we read it in Imam al-Nawawi sketch that we have. He is the messenger of mercy, and he is the messenger of fighting, And he used the mercy when it should be used, guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he used the fighting whenever it should be used, guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You see, when you look at the seerah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what was the total number of killing, from Muslim side and Kafir side in the time of the Prophet ﷺ? Go and collect them, and you are going to not to find more than 1,000. Now, in one simple war, you have millions, of people, they go. You see, when you read the seerah, we should highlight these points, When the Prophet ﷺ wants to conquer Mecca, what was the major concern of the Prophet ﷺ? The major concern was that he don't want to kill anyone in the haram. This was his major concern. And all his action and measurement was just to take away the news of Quraysh, and he made dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when eventually 13 of them were killed, during conquering Mecca, he got angry, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Till he was, Sayyidina Khalid bin Walid explained why these people, they were killed. You see, this tells us the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, not terrorist, not killer, no. You see, those people, who treated him badly, sent him outside his city, took his household, killed his uncle, was the reason to have his wife die, and you name it, you know. Yet the Prophet ﷺ, out of his mercy, when he returned back, this was, go back and read the seerah. His major concern was the killing. He doesn't want anyone to be killed when he entered Mecca. Okay, so if I am fair, even if the person is not Muslim and he's fair, he's going really to feel it exactly. If I want to be blind, you know, no, he's terrorist, he's this and that, you know, this is my problem, not the Prophet ﷺ. Okay, why? Because I try to close my eyes, close my ears, close everything, you know, of knowing the fact. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not here a defendant, you know, because the Prophet ﷺ is much more noble than to need a defendant, you know, or lawyer to take place here and speak about him. But because nowadays, many of those people, they speak badly about him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, try to attack Muslim, you know, by this. We should have those ideas clear in all Muslim minds, okay? If someone said the Islam spread by sword, don't say no. No, say the sword was used whenever it's placed, and the mercy and the peace was used whenever it's placed, okay? And that's why the author here, this is part of the life of the Prophet ﷺ. What are they? The tools that the Prophet ﷺ used for fighting. Yes?
Would you say that the Prophet were angry or upset? Because some people say that anger is haram. So, how can you say the Prophet was upset? Would you say upset or angry?
I did not understand.
These days, people say that it's haram when you get haram to be angry.
No, I would rather say, as the Prophet ﷺ said, anger comes from shaitan. Okay, but the Prophet ﷺ used to be angry to take revenge to Allah for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. See, but generally speaking, ordinary person, their anger comes from shaitan. Don't be angry. Would two coats of armor not making fighting difficult? I'm not that expert, you know, to answer this question. But what I know from Sayyidina Ali ibn Abi Talib, one of the most brave person, you know, among companions, he used to say, whenever we have very critical moments, you know, and severe fighting, you know, the Prophet ﷺ is going to be the closest, you know, the nearest to the enemies, and the most brave person among us, the one who try to seek shelter, you know, by the Prophet ﷺ, put the Prophet ﷺ between him and the enemies, you know. And I think many of you, they are familiar with what happened in Ghazwat Hunayn, when the beginners of the Muslims, they were defeated, you know, and the Prophet ﷺ started shouting and showing himself, you know, and just go forward, you know. This is what I know about it. About the armors, you know, if this make difficult or not, I'm not that expert in this matter. How many times the Prophet ﷺ engaged in battle? The number of ghazawat, yani the Prophet ﷺ attended, according to Ibn Ishaq, it was 27 times. But not all of them, they have fighting. They have fighting only roughly in 9 of them. The number is 27, but majority of them without fighting. Yani the army will go, like Ghazwat Tabuk. The Prophet ﷺ went to Ghazwat to Tabuk, traveled long, you know, and then he did not fight with anyone and returned back to Medina al-Munawwara. And most of the Ghazawat of the Prophet ﷺ was as such. I think, if I remember the number well, 9 of them he had fighting with them, during them, you know. But of the total 27 that mentioned by Ibn Ishaq. Some other authors, they said they were more than 27, you know, but at any rate, 9 of them, the Prophet ﷺ has actual fighting during them. The second part of this question also, can you please relate the incident about the man who was struck with the sword of the Prophet and died as a result, and was the only one who died as a result of the Prophet ﷺ taking part in that. I don't know exactly what the asker mean by this, but I know the only one was killed by the Prophet ﷺ called Ubay ibn Khalaf, who used to threaten the Prophet ﷺ a lot in Mecca, telling him that I have this horse which it's called Al-Awn, and he threatened the Prophet, I'm going to kill you whenever I'm on this horse. And the Prophet ﷺ answered, I'm going to kill you. Okay, and this promise from the Prophet ﷺ. And in Uhud battle, when this person came to kill the Prophet ﷺ, and he was surrounded by the companion, and all of them, they were ready to kill that person. He said, no, hold on, no one will kill him. And the Prophet ﷺ took, what's it?
Spear, CD, and dagger.
Spear.
Spear,
Yeah, the spear, took it from one companion, and he shot him here. It was very trivial, wound here, and that person, and he died of it. But I want to highlight, the Prophet ﷺ said, the worst among humans, the one who killed a prophet or was killed by a prophet. The worst among humans, the one who killed a prophet or was killed by a prophet. What this tell me? That if this person killed by the Prophet ﷺ, that means is the worst. Okay. Here, the Prophet ﷺ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not let him kill even ordinary kafir. He's going to kill one of the worst. Okay. You see, here, in another way, whatever the Prophet ﷺ does, this tells us that this is by the guidance, by the instructions from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, so this person who was killed by the Prophet ﷺ, I say it by full mouth, was one of the worst human ever. How you said 1,000 people, less than one, were killed? Is this in all the wars the Prophet ﷺ was a part at it, or all wars that took place in time of Islam spreading? Neither way. I did not say about Ghazawat nor about Islamic spreading, but I said during the life of the Prophet ﷺ. So the answer, no, for both of them, okay? Roughly less than 1,000 in the life of the Prophet ﷺ. When you count in the seerah, the number of killing took place. When people say Islam was spread by the sword, they refer to people being told to convert or face difficulty, and at times death. Did this happen? I'm here to clarify the truth, okay? In Islam, the only time that the person is going to be killed if he did not convert to Islam, when he became Muslim and returned back, okay? I say it with full mouth, okay? This is the instruction given in the Quran and by the Prophet ﷺ. What's the reason behind it? The reason behind it was given by non-Muslim. We read it in Bukhari, when Caesar, the ruler of Roman, he asked Abu Sufyan, he said, any of them, of those Muslims, he's going to return back to his original religion? He said no. He said that's why, because whenever you have the belief get completely mixed with the heart, it's impossible to return back. So in another word, what does this tell? When a person had this action, that's mean he did not become Muslim because of belief. He had some other thoughts there, okay? And that's why his punishment is going to be as such, okay? So this reason was given not by a Muslim person, this was given by a non-Muslim person. And this was the explanation, okay? This is the only case that the person is given the choice either to become Muslim or to be killed, you know, when he was a Muslim and he converted back to Kufr. How many Jews were executed during Bani Qurayza and Khaybar? In Khaybar, not many. And that's why, thank you for this question, you know, because the largest number of killing was in Bani Qurayza, because they were roughly 600 or 700. Okay? Yeah, the rest of the events in the time of the Prophet ﷺ, they were less than 300. The total killing. Okay, thank you for this question. Now we move to the ordinary clothes of the Prophet ﷺ, not during the wartime. Imamatul Nabi ﷺ, the turban of the Prophet ﷺ. The first hadith that he has black turban while he was making khutbah. Okay, this is about the color. The second hadith speaks about the description of it, that the Prophet ﷺ used to have a tail, or what you call it, I don't know, of his turban goes between his shoulders. And Ibn Umar, the companion, used to do it. And Qasim ibn Muhammad Salim, those are famous scholars, you know, of Medina Munawwar, they used to do as such. To best of my knowledge, if I remember well, you know, the color of the turban of the Prophet ﷺ, some occasion was black, some occasion was green, and some occasion was white, okay? I'm not now quite sure about it, you know, but that's what I remember, you know. You have it in different occasions, different colors, you know. You may say the availability, you know, but as we read before, that the white color, the Prophet ﷺ instructed us a lot about it. We have some hadith, I don't know if it's coming in our text or not, you know, I'm not sure now, that the Prophet ﷺ used to love the green color. Okay, and here you add on it the black color, you know, of his turban, which happened in some times, you know, and for sure, you know, when he conquered Mecca ﷺ, he has the black turban on his holy head. Yes.
At what age did the Prophet Muhammad start wearing the turban? Is it after Prophet or before Prophet?
The Arab, all of them, they have turban. This wasn't something special to Islam, okay? It became special to Islam later on. But in these old days, you know, all Arab, they used to have turban.
So before
Yes. This is the habit of Arab.
and the green was loved by the Prophet Muhammad.
I think there's hadith mentioned here. I don't know. It's still there, you know, or it was taken away. I don't know. Then speaking about the izar, you know, I think you are familiar with the word izar much more than wrap around. Okay? Anyway, of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And here, as I said, you know, before, that when the Prophet ﷺ went to perform Umrah in Mecca, when the regime in Mecca was still the non-believers, and they rejected him of coming to Mecca during Hudaybiyah, he sent a representative, ﷺ, Sayyidina Uthman ibn Affan. And he's a very noble person from noble family. And when he went to Mecca, his relatives, they were too surprised. Why? Because the noble person in Jahiliyyah, before Islam, is going to show himself as a rich, you know. one of the chauvinism, of good wealth, was by elongation of the clothes. And they saw Sayyidina Usman Affan, and his izar was to the middle of his legs, and they were really surprised. How come you have it in such a way, Like if now you have someone with trousers who are too short, and now we are familiar with it, much more. Okay, anyway, so, and he said, this is the way our friend, meaning the Prophet ﷺ, do it, And this is the way the Prophet ﷺ used to have. So what benefit we get from this hadith? That this was the habit of the Prophet ﷺ, and as you may see in this hadith, that his companions, they used to try to mimic him in this way. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The other hadith, this was, as you may see in the first hadith, this is action of the Prophet ﷺ, which is part of his tradition. The other hadith is a statement, okay? When he took the muscle in the middle, of the leg of one of the Muslims, of Sayyidina Hudayfa ibn al-Yaman, or of himself, Here they have doubt, the narrator have doubt. This was taken from Sayyidina Hudayfa ibn al-Yaman, a famous companion, or from him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he said, this is the place of the izar, and this is the destination, or this is the other end of the izar. If you don't like it, you have the choice, okay, down, all the way to the ankles. Please, I would like everyone to broaden his knowledge about Islam from this particular hadith. What do I mean by this? We have certain limits, that this is the least. And then you have the optional area, and then you have the prohibited one. You see? And this is really, it's very nice because it's applicable to many aspects of our Islam. And this is a summary of what I said yesterday about that famous hadith, in Allah make obligation on you, don't waste it. Allah make prohibitions on you, don't try to use them, Allah made some definitions or some borders for you, don't go beyond them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept silent about certain matters, don't ask about it, you see. And here it's well shown, this, how nice is it. Okay. So here you have something has two limits, The first limit, this is the sunnah. Then you have some optional way. Then you have haram after it, prohibition, okay? So here, what I would like to say, please don't get mixture between the limit and the optional, okay? That's what many of us suffer, in this, or they are lacking there, because they get confused about the optional matters and the obligations. We should have this well-oriented, in our mind, all of us, and by this, really, we are not going to make it hard on everyone. And I know that a famous mufti in Damascus, he assigned someone to make khutbah Jumu'ah as in a regular basis, But he instructed him, what did he say? You don't mention in your khutbah anything which is controversial. Okay? Now, whenever you have difference in opinion on any matter, don't mention in khutbah Jumu'ah. Why? Because this is going to create a lot of confusion for people. Firstly, what I'm concerned about, to make the Muslim, all of them, aware of what's prohibited on them, what's an obligation on them. Okay? This is the most important thing. When you look at the Muslims nowadays, they get themselves busy, on those optional matters, or controversial matters, or matters happen after the Prophet ﷺ, much more than the obligation and prohibition. I would rather say no, they are going to waste some or many of those obligations and prohibitions, on the account of arguing with each other, dispute each other, about certain matters that they are optional. They happen after the Prophet ﷺ. You see this point, I'm not Salafi, I'm Salafi in my way of the Salaf, okay? Not about the famous madhab that we have nowadays, okay? But here, just I want everyone, to have the recognition between the matter that was mentioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger, and the matter that we felt after that we may need them, like masbaha, like other things. They are not equal at all, okay? I feel that this is beneficial for me to have masbaha because I'll get mistaken, by the number, and many times I tend to forget famous dhikr mentioned by the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ said to have 100 times Subhanallah, 100 times Alhamdulillah, 100 times La ilaha illallah, 100 times Allahu Akbar after Asr prayer, If I don't have it, just in my practice, okay? I cannot do it. It's impossible for me. Can I say that this is like Zuhr prayer? No. Can I say this is like the tradition of the Prophet ﷺ when he had kuhl? No. You see, we should have full recognition. I feel a lot of benefit in this, okay? But I cannot dictate it on anyone, okay? Perhaps the one who seek me an advice, I keep forgetting, don't know how to count, I'll give him as a suggestion to use it, But to consider it as sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, or obligation, or the one who doesn't carry it is not from Ahl Sunnah or Jama'ah. You see the difference between the two? There's significant difference, okay? So please, this, for me, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, this hadith tells us about the flexibility of Islam and the determination of Islam in the meanwhile, which gives the greatness of the Islam and make the Islam eligible for all times and all people. If I want to put it in another pattern, in Islam, you have bases, you have basic matters, you have essentials, okay? Those essentials, no one has the right to change them. And anyone deny any of them is kafir. Okay? We should know these essentials. Like what? Like Quran. No one has the authority, to add one letter or take away one letter. Okay? These are essentials. Okay. On the other hand, you have optional. You have opening. Okay? Tonight in Ramadan, I feel some headache. Is it farad to pray 20 rak'ahs? No. It's optional. It's open. If I have a severe headache, I should pray for rak'at zuhr. I should have full recognition between this and that. Okay? Please be oriented of those matters. Really, I feel, I don't know if I'm right or not, the one who has this orientation, the one who has this recognition, by full mouth I call him faqih. He may not be faqih of the detail, of pillar of prayer or whatever, but this person has good idea about the rules of Islam in general. He has good outlook of Islam. Okay. The other one who goes in details and he really is too knowledgeable in fiqh, yet he doesn't have this clear idea. For me, I don't look as this person as a knowledgeable person. Okay, he's limited, restricted person. He like when we used to be, children, and they gave this piece of poem that we should memorize by heart. Okay, I'm going to memorize it by heart, say it all from the beginning till the end, but I don't know anything about it. Okay, you may feel that I'm knowledgeable about this poem because I memorize it, but I don't know anything about it. Okay. The other one may not memorize it well, but he know its meaning. He know how to deal with it, And this look for sure the best among us who combine both of them, okay? To know the details and to know the common frame outlook, okay? And I'm not exaggerating if I said in Quran you are going to have the common outlook frame, much more than the details, The details you take it from. Partially, you take it from the tradition of the Prophet ﷺ, and secondly, you take it from the other scholars, the companion and the other scholars when they try to analyze those matters. But most of the verses of the Quran speak about the Islam and its common look. in its general meaning, okay? And this is that I encourage everyone, if he wants to be unique in his time or among his people, to have this look on of Islam. This is going not only to improve your knowledge about Islam, I would rather say it's going firstly to improve your knowledge about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, knowledge about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the personality, the description of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, knowledge about the Quran, and also it's going to help you in your practical life. You are a lawyer or a physician or whatever, when you try to get those Islamic texts, of how to deal with matters and how to handle, I found it's too helpful, not only for religious matters, it's helpful for all life. Me, myself as physician, I may use the same tools, of analysis, given by Islam, or the look, to treat a patient. And for me, it was quite helpful, to recognize between this patient and the other patient, you see. And that's why, really, we are in real need of those people, who have this look, this open look in both aspects. When I say open, not to get myself or the others free of everything, no. The open look of let's put it in this way, the essential unchangeable matters and the changeable matters. Okay? And the second point, what was mentioned, instructed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Messenger, and what we feel that it is beneficial for us. Inshallah, we'll have break for 15 minutes. We convene again. We'll try to answer this question, or if